President Trump says a ceasefire between Iran and Israel is now in effect after the deal he announced last night initially faltered. Israel accused Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after the truce was supposed to take effect. But according to our NBC News team in Tel Aviv, it appears the ceasefire is holding despite back and forth firing between Israel and Iran earlier today. Short time ago, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel had achieved, quote, historic victory in dismantling Iran's nuclear program. He also praised President Trump, saying, quote, Israel has never had a greater friend.
But those comments came just hours after the president had harsh words for both Israel and Iran. NBC 10's political reporter Lauren Mayk is following the latest developments, and she also is looking at how this conflict could affect Americans here at home. Lauren.
Fred and Tracy, Iran's strike against a U.S. base in Qatar in retaliation for the U.S. strikes on nuclear facilities did not kill any American troops. But aside from military action, there is another action that Iran could take that is prompting some warning both from the government and from a former military official who I talked to today. It is a cyber attack.
They both violated it.
President Trump expressing unhappiness with what he saw after announcing a ceasefire between Israel and Iran.
These guys got to calm down. Ridiculous.
On Capitol Hill, frustration also with the flow of information. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer calling the postponement of a classified briefing for senators until Thursday outrageous, evasive, and derelict. Meanwhile, questions still about what happens next between Israel and Iran and the region where the U.S. made strikes in Iran this weekend.
The military Operation Midnight Hammer looked like it was a great success. Taking out their nuclear facilities in those 3 sites. We used 12, B-2 bombers. And then we were quick to say, hey, but this is peace through strength. We're hoping that we now will find a peace, especially between Iran and Israel. That peace does not look like it's holding, unfortunately.
Patrick Murphy is a former undersecretary of the U.S. Army and former congressman from Bucks County.
How do you view where we are right now in this conflict?
It's a tinderbox.
Murphy says it's been like that for the past 20 years. At this moment, he's warning Iran's retaliation could come in the form of cyber attacks that could affect Americans at home or at work.
They have a very lethal cyber capability. When you look at the world-class players in cyber, which is the 5th domain of war, it really is Iran, it is America, it is China, and it's Russia.
This week, the Department of Homeland Security issued a National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin saying, quote, low-level cyber attacks against U.S. networks by pro-Iranian hacktivists are likely, and cyber actors affiliated with the Iranian government may conduct attacks against U.S. networks, end quote. Protecting yourself, Murphy says, means staying vigilant with what he calls cyber hygiene.
Getting your operating system, doing the updates, yes, it's annoying, right? But you got to do it so you can protect yourself, you can protect your company, you protect your family, so you're not going to be abused.
I mentioned that Senator Schumer was upset about a postponement of a briefing for senators. Well, we just learned that a classified briefing for House members has also been pushed, that one until Friday. Tracy?